Oh boy, do I have a video for you. We're going to be looking at something today. Alright guys, so you saw the title, you saw the thumbnail, you already know what this video is about. So before we get started, I just want to say a few things. I've been changing things up on the channel, so you want to start making sure to pay attention to the description of the video, because they're going to be having things in there that update live. So you can vote on things, you can make decisions on things, the latest subscribers will be in there, update counters, votes, all kinds of stuff is going to be going on in the description for you guys to interact with and see the updates as they happen. Also, the thumbnail of the video is going to be updating live with actual view counts. So I'm just saying, some dope stuff going on. So you can be part of the progress and you can see how well things are doing live. Make it happen. You see that right there? Let's get to 100K. I want you to watch the video, then I want you to go to the description and I want you to vote on what you think is right. I'm gonna have a little vote thing down there so you can make your decision. And then in the comments, tell me why. Tell me why you made that vote, or tell me why you had a different thought or whatever. Let's have a little discussion about this because this is going to be a pretty juicy video. Without making this last any longer, let's just get right to the video right now. So for those of you that don't know what's going on, I just found out about it myself. There's been this kind of tiff in the magic space about a product that isn't even released yet. It's not even released yet. Dancy had some thoughts that he had about it, and Craig Petty, who's the creator of the Effect Quantum deck, which is what we're going to be talking about, kind of answered back, and he answered back kind of hard. So we're going to watch this video together, and I'm going to give you some of my thoughts on what I think is right or wrong. Little disclosure, I did see a bit of it before, but we're going to go through it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts about what's being said on both ends. I did see the original stream that was brought up, and I saw Craig Petty's video, which there'll be a link for that in the description below, and I think you should go check out his video if you want to support him or tell him your thoughts. You're more than welcome to go do that. Just no attacking. You know, let's be honest, let's be civil, and let's be real about some stuff. We're going to start the video, we're going to react to it, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on everything that's going on. Usually don't do this because I don't like to get involved in the drama, but I think there were some points that are really important to take out from what's going on with this.
About 3 or 4 months ago, I stopped the rants on this channel. If the rants were still taking place on this channel, this would be a very different video. However, the rants have stopped, so I'm going to try and address this in a different way. I was planning on making this a video all about the quantum deck enhanced.
You know, let me just say something real quick about that. Early on, when I started getting more into the social media thing, I was doing stuff like that. I was doing rants. I was very angry. I was spewing out a lot of negativity. I didn't even realize how much it affected me. I've never really watched Craig's channel, but I did see some of his videos before were very ranty and angry, and I kind of didn't want to watch any of that stuff. But I'm glad to see that he's not doing that anymore. That's cool. I understand if it's the same reason why I did it. I understand why. If it's not, still, it's cool. That's why when I do try to watch tutorials, I actually watch people like Magic Orthodoxy and stuff like that, because they're just super chill guys and they're honest. And even if they don't like something, they don't try to tear it down. They just call it for what it is. And the direct honesty I can appreciate. It doesn't have to be angry. So kudos to you, Craig. Good job.
And something came to my attention that last night, Dancy and Mike Hankins on the All About Magic Facebook page did a Facebook Live, or did a live to a whole bunch of people. And as part of that, they did a little 5-minute talk about the quantum deck, where they basically just ripped into me as a creator. They ripped into the quantum deck. They said they're not going to stock it on their shelves, and it's a dishonest trailer, and they said a lot. Now, I've been completely honest with every single person.
Okay, so little disclosure again. I've seen the trailer for the quantum deck. I know how the quantum deck works. I actually saw the trailer before it was released. You know, I have ins. You know what I'm saying? I'm that guy, okay? I get behind the scenes, baby. When I saw the trailer, I really didn't see anything deceptive about it. Do I necessarily like the effect or the method? I mean, that's neither here nor there. I think it's a valid method. I think it will work for a lot of people. I think it can solve some problems. I think it could cause some problems. And all of that is fair. I didn't think the trailer itself was deceptive whatsoever. So I didn't understand. We'll get into it. By the way I get access to a lot of that stuff is with a podcast that's on this channel as well every Wednesday called All Access Magic, and you should check it out. Just saying, little.
Now, as this is really the only negative thing that's really been online about the quantum deck, I'm going to kind of address Luke and Mike, and we're going to talk about what they said.
I just want to say something about that. I'm sure lots of people are going to love the effect, and that's great. Doesn't matter what I think about the trick. If you like the trick and you get value out of it, then who is anybody to tell you otherwise, right? So when you watch the trailer, if you like the effect and you get it and you enjoy it, then you've gotten your money's worth, and I think that's great. But this trick really isn't out yet, so I think a lot of the praise is kind of unwarranted in a way because it's only based on a few people that have received it, and I think when the product releases, you'll get a better idea of different people's opinions instead of just a few here and there, which is neither here nor there anyway. I always say this, if you like a product from the trailer and you like the effect, then go buy it and make your own opinion.
Allow me to come back at you. So the main thing that they say, and they say this right at the very beginning, is they say this is a deceptive trailer that is designed to get you guys to buy the Quantum deck. That's what they say. In fact, listen to this.
But my biggest problem with this whole thing,
He's showing it.
honestly, comes down to a couple of things, but for me, it's more about one single thing, and it's this. It's a deceptive trailer.
They even made a graphic. Oh, God.
It is a 100% straight up deceptive trailer to try to get you to buy a product.
So
let's keep going.
that's the first thing that they say, which is kind of annoying, really, when I spend so much time banging on about honest trailers and dishonest trailers. And I want to kind of address this, and they've broken down points which I'm going to address, because there's going to be people out there that haven't bought the Quantum deck, so I think that you need to hear both sides of the story. But first of all, let's just talk about that statement. Craig Petty has put together a dishonest trailer because he wants people to buy his product. Well, first of all, Luke, first of all, Mike, I think you need to understand, I couldn't give two shits whether people buy the Quantum deck or not. Obviously, I would like people to buy the Quantum deck, but why would I want people to buy the Quantum deck? The only reason people release a dishonest trailer is because they want money, right? They want lots of money. Oh, I'm going to put this dishonest trailer out there because I'm going to hope that that's going to encourage more people to buy it. And you said it yourself. I'm putting a dishonest trailer out because I want people to buy the project. I couldn't care less about money. You ask anybody I've worked with this industry, ask Pete Nardi, ask D. Christopher, ask people who have worked directly with me, some of the guys from 𝗦𝗧𝗨𝗙𝗙, anybody, ask them if I'm money motivated. I'm not. I've got income sources away from magic, and I'll give you an example I'll prove that to you.
I'm sorry. I don't think this really deals with the statement of, if the trailer is dishonest, which I don't think it is, that he's doing it just to sell the product. I don't think him ranting about he doesn't need the money changes the fact that he put a product on the market to be sold, right? And Murphy's, as a large company, wants the product to sell also, right? So as much as Luke is going after Craig, they should be going after Murphy's as well, if the argument is valid, right? Like, if the trailer is deceptive, I don't think that Craig Petty edited the trailer and put all the graphics in and all of those statements. I think Murphy's did, maybe on Craig's direction, maybe they thought they just needed to add selling points. I don't think saying that I don't need money kind of deals with the validity of the trailer. Is the trailer deceptive? No. Let's go into why it's not deceptive, not talk about how little you need money. I don't think that's a very valid argument, but whatever, let's just keep watching. That's just my opinion on it. By the way, I understand Craig's frustration right now, but I think that anger is kind of making him make points that aren't really necessary.
Quantum deck sold out very, very quickly. Literally, it's sold out on pre-sale. What that means is it sold out, all of Murphy's allocated stock sold out before it even was allowed to go out on websites by dealers. Okay? It's sold out on pre-sale, which has never been done before. Now, I had a phone call that same night from Murphy's asking me, because as part of my deal, I get X amount of copies of Quantum, 50 or 100 copies of Quantum. I can't remember how many. And they said to me, hey, Craig, it's sold out everywhere. People are wanting more Quantum. Would you mind if we didn't give you your allocated amount because we'd like to try and give the dealers as many copies as they can. Now, to be clear, I have a contract in place with Murphy's, which means that if I wanted those copies, they would have to give it to me. And they said it was up to me. Now, also bear in mind that I'm lecturing at the Blackpool Magic Convention this next weekend. On the Saturday morning, I'm lecturing at the Blackpool Magic Convention. Let me ask everybody who's watching this video, let me ask you, Luke, and you, Mike, if I went to the Blackpool Magic Convention with Quantum and I performed it on stage in my lecture, and then I had 100 copies of it available outside, do you think I'd sell them? Oh, hell I would. I'd probably sell them before I even had people coming into the lecture.
Again, I don't think any of this has to do with the validity of if the trailer is a lie. I personally think this is just his frustration, and I get it. But I don't think it really adds anything.
And let's think about it. $40, 100 Quantums, that's $4,000 that I could make, and I could very easily make just by taking that allocated amount of Quantums to Blackpool. I could have them on my little stand outside my lecture and say, hey, Quantums are available, they're sold out.
Doesn't matter. Also, this whole pre-sale thing, I don't understand that. Like, I know when a product is getting ready to go to market, they sell it to dealers first, and then you could call it an embargo that they can't release it before a certain day. But sometimes what they do is, instead of saying we're launching a product today and everybody can get it today and only certain suppliers have access to get it early, they opened it up to everybody, to all the dealers, to buy it early. And I guess they're calling that a pre-sale. But again, most people who have bought this product have not even the dealers have not received it yet. And a lot of people are going off of the trailer, which is neither here nor there. So again, the argument of people are loving this effect, it's the dealers that are buying this because they see a sale. They see a potential sale in a gimmick, right? Gimmicks usually sell very well compared to things that you have to do a lot of technical practice for, right? So this pre-sale argument also, I think, doesn't hold much weight. I think it's great that his product is selling well. You know, I'm sure Craig put a lot of work into this product, and I'm glad it's selling well for him, but I don't think it really adds anything to the arguments. That's all I'm trying to say with this. He's kind of not focusing on the points.
But I have 100, first come, first served. Do you think people would buy them? Oh, hell yes, people would buy them. But you know what? I turned around to Murphy's and I said, look, the dealers need them more than me. I'll just have my stock on the next run. Whenever that is, March, April, May, whenever it is. Is that the actions of somebody who's money motivated? Is that the actions of somebody who's putting a dishonest trail out to try and dupe people into buying this product?
Well, it doesn't matter. It's a sales proposition. If you have a product that's selling and more people can sell the product than you, the last thing you want to do is put the dealers in a position where they can't get more of your product, right? So it's a business decision. That's not I'm making a fake trailer decision or I'm making a real trailer decision. It's a business decision, and that's separate from the trailer.
If you're going to set yourself up as a self-appointed journalist here, Mike, or if you're going to do the same thing, Luke, then maybe you should do some research. Maybe you should reach out to people before you actually say stuff about their products. I did. Every time I've spoken to somebody about somebody's product, I've contacted them first of all. Every single time. But, you know, it's your thing.
I think that's fair also. I've done it. People have done it to me. I actually, before I did this video, I reached out to Craig. He hasn't responded, but I did reach out to him to tell him I was going to do this video. I think, you know, like there have been products that have been sent to me for a while. I was doing a lot of reviews on things, and there were products sent to me that, frankly, I couldn't find anything redeeming in, and I either decided not to do it because I don't feel it's right for me to destroy a product, right? But if something is good, I want to say that, right? Like, again, it's kind of that thing of me trying not to be as negative anymore, right? So I do agree with that sentiment that if they did have such a big issue, they should have reached out to him and said something, especially since Luke has early access to products because of a deal that he worked out, right? So he has the product in hand. He knows how it works. He watched the trailer. He has the tutorial. He saw the trailer before anybody, and nobody else does. Realistically, there are a few people that do, but really nobody else does. We had it for the podcast. Luke has it, and some other people do. So it's a kind of a hard thing to try to tear down a product before it actually hits the market, right? Because the sales that are made right now are not retail sales. These are distributor to retail. This is distributor to wholesaler. So the stores that you would buy it at is a wholesaler. They buy it from the distributor at a wholesale price, and then they sell it for retail, and that's how they make their profit. So actual customers have not bought this yet. Just something to keep in mind.
They say that the main reason that quantum is dishonest is because the statement is made that you can examine everything. I performed it to Adam Wilbur, and I said, hey, you can examine everything. And they say the deck cannot be 100% examined, especially to magicians. And they make the point that the deck can't be examined several times, and then they further labor the point about it not being able to be examined to magicians.
Okay, I don't know. I don't remember what Craig is going to say after this, but here's what I'm going to say. I know how this effect works. And if you're doing this to non-magicians, you can absolutely hand them the deck. And I'm telling you, I've done this with other similar type decks. The fear that you have in them finding the gimmick, the method, is totally unwarranted. Because the way a magician looks for a gimmick is different than the way a layman looks for a layman, an audience member looks for a gimmick, right? And because of the method, they will not find it. And usually they don't even care. If you do the effect right, if you perform it right, and you maintain your audience management, you can hand it to them and they can examine it, right? But with anything, there has to be a level of audience management. You have to be able to understand that not every trick is going to be perfect, right? So like if you hand them something to examine, they could look at it, but eventually you're going to want to take that back. You don't want them picking things apart or breaking things or finding out, right? So I don't know. I think this argument is going to get sketchy, but let's see what happens. Oh yeah, and the magician thing. You know, I'm pretty sure Luke is one of those guys that likes to talk a lot about performing for real people all the time, right? In fact, I think that's one of the reasons why he dislikes me now, is because I do the social media stuff, and he's always saying that I don't do this for real people. So if this is a magic product by Craig Petty, a guy who is a worker, and he puts out a product that he uses as a worker, then this product is not made as a magician fool or trick. This is made for somebody to actually use, right? So what's the problem?
Bought it, but this is the hilarious point that Mike makes. Right, Mike makes the point, and he says the reason people bought it is because it can be examined 100%, and if that statement wasn't in there, it wouldn't have sold. Mike, it's sold out on pre-sale.
Okay.
It was sold out before anybody even saw the ad copy or the trailer. Try to understand that for a second, right? It's sold out on pre-sale.
It selling out on pre-sale means nothing about the honesty of the product. I am just saying. That being said, the statement 100% examinable, I think, is a misnomer. A lot of people say it about a lot of things. If you were to look at different products out there, almost none of them are 100% examinable. They're examinable, you can look at them, but 100% examinable means somebody could fine-tooth comb, go through each thing individually, try to take things apart, check seams on things. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is that good. Nothing. There is no trick out there that good.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is, my friends, the deck cannot be 100% examined, especially if you are a magician.
So what? What does that matter? I don't get it.
Especially if you're a magician, because in the explanations of this, and I have watched all of it, there are words trying to justify saying that. And even in the instructions, he mentions that you really can't have a magician look at it and not know. They will know. But laymen will be okay.
Listen, I knew how the trick worked from the trailer. That doesn't take away from the effect. That doesn't change if the effect is good. There's a lot of tricks that I've seen the trailers for, and just by watching the trailer, I know the method. I know how it works. Does that diminish the effect? No. I'm a magician. I think about these things. I know these methods. So of course it may not fool me, but it's not about fooling me.
But yet in the trailer, he's saying straight up to a magician multiple times, and I meant to have a cut of the times, but I didn't have time, and everything can be examined. And that's the part that's throwing people off. I believe that's the part that's getting the quotes. That's the part that's making people buy it, is they think in their head it must be something totally different. But the reality is a magician 100% cannot examine the deck and not know what's going on because it
Cares?
is a gimmick deck.
Who cares?
But let's talk about the examinability issue. Let's move past the fact that in the trailer, the first thing that you see after the Zoom performance is me handing a deck to somebody in the audience and saying, here you are, examine those and check them out. Let's move past that and let's talk about this whole, it can't be examined. Right, let's talk about that. And as I say, we'll talk about the magic thing in a bit, the magician thing in a bit. When I performed it to Adam and I performed it to everybody else on those Zoom calls, I was saying to them, hey, I want to show you a trick, right? I want to show you a trick. Can I show you a trick? Yeah. If you were here, you could examine it, right? I'm telling them that I also said to them, it's an instant reset. You can do it in the hands. There's no angle issues. I told them all of this stuff, right? But here's the thing. It is 100% examinable to a layman immediately.
And I agree with that to a degree. I still wouldn't say 100%. I would say they could check it out. It's examinable because of the way most people will try to find a secret in a deck. That's why. I don't want to give away the method, but the method is such that when most people grab a deck, they're going to try to do a specific thing, and that actually strengthens the secret. So I agree with Craig, and he's going to show a performance.
It's 100% examinable to a layman immediately. And I go into, on the project, there's an entire section about why it's examinable. It is a gaff deck that if you hand it to a layman, they will immediately examine it and not find anything. Now, to be honest, very few people want to examine it because of how the routines are constructed. When you do the routines, nobody wants to examine the deck. They always want to examine something else. They don't want to examine the deck, right?
That is audience management. That is performance. That is routining. That is what makes it so good and why you can hand out the deck and why they more often than not, 99% of the times, you will absolutely be able to hand the deck out. And there are times where you shouldn't. And as a performer, you should know when those times are. You should know those audience members that might be a little bit too ambitious and want to try to do something beyond you. And as a performer and a professional, you should understand that.
So why you would say, oh, it can't be examined 100%, especially to magicians. And it's that statement, especially to magicians. In other words, it's not 100% examinable for anybody. Yes, it is.
Right.
There are multiple live performance videos on that project of me performing it in every single environment. Bars, weddings, corporates, stage. It's a 5-hour tutorial with an hour of live performances. So you can see it being performed in the real world over and over again. 2 people where I hand the deck out. So let's give the people on this video an exclusive, shall we?
This is the argument. This is what should have been done from the very beginning. Let's give
the people on this video an exclusive, and let's show the full performance of that clip that you see on the trailer.
Okay, so I'm going to skip ahead to the end of the trick. If you want to see the whole performance, please go to Craig's channel and watch it. He shows multiple performances. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you honestly, there's no cuts in the performance, so you could see from beginning to end what he's doing. There's no switching. He literally hands it to them, and they examine it. So let's go down to that.
7. Every other card is blank. You can check those out, Steph. There is one.
There, immediately hands it to the girl. That's important. Now, watch how she examines the deck, because this is important.
And one card only that's printed in the 47th position.
The way this woman is spreading the cards is exactly why it can be examined, because most people will look for a gimmick or something when you hand them a deck like this. That is why it works. Now, do you want this person to take the deck and go home with it and spend hours on it examining it? No, that would make it 100% examinable, right? The performance is done, they check it out, you take the deck back, you go on with your life. That's examinable. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to fool a scientist that can tell depth and materials and construct. All it needs to do is be looked at, the person is satisfied, and they go on. That's it. It's examinable. Let's go on.
So there you go. So there's a full live performance to a difficult spectator where I'm handing the deck out for examination. I'm not going to the whys and wherefores of how the...
That is the argument. That is the deception of the trailer. Right there. He proved it. That's the end of the argument. Point one, Craig, in my opinion.
But then you make the statement about magicians. It's not examinable, especially to magicians. Now,
I'm going to skip this section because I personally don't think it bears any validity. Personally, I think Craig is a professional performer and he made a product that he uses professionally and he designed it for people to use professionally. That's my opinion. So I'm going to skip the entire argument about the magician because I don't think it matters. This is not meant to be a magician fooler. Although, I'm sure it could be. If you watch his video, he does do this at lectures and conventions, and he has fooled magicians with it. So...
okay, so the next thing that they say, is it worth $40 if magicians can't examine it? They actually make that statement. Listen.
But the reality is, a magician 100% cannot examine the deck and not know what's going on, because it is a gimmick deck, 100%.
So at that point, what are you paying $40 for? You know what I mean? Like it becomes a matter of breaking it down to, is it worth $40 at that point?
Okay, is it worth $40? That is a terrible, terrible argument. When you're putting out a product, you have to film, you have to edit. This is a custom-made gimmick, so you're talking about production, packaging. A lot of elements go into creating a product. Now, a couple of years ago, I put out an 𝐏𝐸𝐻 coin box. Little spun brass tube with a cap. That's what an 𝐏𝐸𝐻 box is, really. We sold it with 4 routines in a package. In fact, I'll show it to you.
Eventually.
So, this is it. This is boxed by Sinbad Max. This sold out. And this is the packaging, which I think is very nice. Inside is a custom 𝐏𝐸𝐻 coin box with the Lost Art symbol, and then there was a little card that showed you where to get the video. Now I'm going to show you everything, okay? The rest of it is just foam, and inside is this. That's it. That's the whole thing. The question is this worth $40? This isn't even a gimmick. This is just a piece of brass in a box. Is this worth $40? It could be examined. There's other ones. There's other 𝐏𝐸𝐻 coin boxes that are more expensive that you can't examine. Are they worth the money? There's a lot of things that are expensive that you can't examine. Are they worth the money? That doesn't make sense. How does something being examinable make the effect good or not? I never understood this argument, and I don't think it's a good one. But let's keep going.
Is it worth paying $40 for a project if a magician can't examine it? Is the single dumbest statement I've ever heard in my entire life.
Ooh.
There are millions of tricks that are bought out that won't fool magicians. There are thousands of tricks that come out daily that won't fool magicians. But you make the statement, is it worth $40 if magicians can't examine it? Like, seriously? Of course it is. Of course it is. If somebody likes the effect, they're not. Most people don't buy a trick to perform for magicians. They buy a trick to perform for their friends, their family, at a gig, wherever it is.
Actually, the reality is most people buy magic tricks because they either like the company, they like the person who's creating it, or they just want to collect information and they never use it. Most people do not use the tricks they buy.
The fact that it should or shouldn't be examined by a magician shouldn't come into how much it's worth.
That's right.
And the bottom line is you're paying $40. And for $40, you're getting a fully gimmick deck that took me a long time to create. You've got 5 hours of 5 hours of tutorial, including several routines.
There's the filming.
In every single type of environment you could imagine, including turning a card at any number into an any card at any number in several different ways. You've got all of this on the project. You've got absolutely everything. You've got one of the most in-depth tutorials you'll ever see and a fully gimmick deck, and it's $40.
I think it's fair. Fair statement.
I just don't get your point. Just don't get your point. Is it worth $40 if magicians can't examine it? Well, surely that's down to the individual. Surely that's down to the individual. They see the trick and they decide whether they want to buy it or not. Whether it fools magicians or not shouldn't even come into it. And by the way, it can if you follow my instructions on the download. But let's talk about something else now. Let's talk about the dumbest thing that you two say in your little 5-minute video. Out of everything you say, this is the dumbest thing. You say, Mike says, oh, and another problem with it is you don't get told that the trick uses 2 decks of cards. And Luke's like, yeah,
it's not true. I've seen the tutorial. It's not true.
Let's look at that.
And the other thing that you told me as well is, and they don't show it in the trailer, it's not just one deck that's used for the effect. So,
right.
Now, the way Luke reacts to that, I think he knows it's bullshit, but he's just going with it. This just proves that you haven't even watched the tutorial.
Yep.
Because you've got Mike making a statement that's just completely factually inaccurate, and you've got Luke agreeing with him. This is just out and out lies at this point. It's more than 1 deck of cards. Yes, there is a handling on the download that requires 2 decks of cards, and I'll tell you what it is. I have the quantum deck set up with a particular card.
I'm not going to go through it. If you want to know more about that, you can go on, but I'm going to skip ahead.
So then after that, Mike and Luke talk about how they make another dumb statement, to be honest. They say, if something needs to be hyped, is it worth it?
What?
If something needs to be hyped, is it worth it?
I am 100% on Craig's side with this. That is the dumbest statement I've ever heard. Hype is part of marketing. That is a normal business thing. If you have a business, you talk about a product that you like, you talk about a product that you've invested in and released it, you want to get the most eyes on it as possible. There is no product that has done well that wasn't hyped. There might be a few, but other people hyped it. There was some hype somewhere. If nobody hyped anything, nothing would get sold. For instance, Tyvek system, dope effect, dope stuff was hyped. Optics by Illusionist, Tobias Dostal, dope effect was hyped. Mintbox by Daniel Garcia was hyped, dope effect. In fact, one of the original teasers for this showed Garcia doing the trick to a group of people, not showing it on camera, turns to someone and goes, I know this guy's a magician, I'm going to pull him over for a second. They walk away. He shows them how the trick works, not on camera. You just see the guy reacting to it, and that was the teaser. That was hype. Mintbox, and guess what? It's a good effect. By the way, can be examined. 100% examinable? No. But can it be examined? Yes. Silhouette, hyped. First Degree, or One Degree by John Gustafaro, great book, hyped. Blizzard by Dean Dill. The Skinner, 3-card Monty. JB Bobo's Modern Coin Magic. Royal Road to Card Magic. Tarbell. And The Expert at the Card Table. All of these things are hyped by magicians, and they sell because people feel that there's something valid to it. Car dealers sell cars. They don't just show one commercial. They show it constantly to remind you about the product. Maybe you didn't even know you wanted the product. That's what marketing is. That is the dumbest argument I've ever heard in my life. The dumbest.
If something has to be hyped repeatedly before it comes out, even for pre-sale, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, there is a reason. Because they want it to sell. That's why. What the kind of...
Because if something is good and you show it once, that should be enough.
Okay. Does that make sense to you? If you show something once, that should be enough. You show it to 10 people, and that's it. All your sales are done. That's asinine. That is stupid. There's no business in the world that markets something once. Not one.
For people to want to bite on it, if you want to put it that way.
Boys, there wasn't that much hype on it. The trailer dropped on a Friday, right? We put 4 little teaser videos up, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It's not like it's had months of hype.
By the way, there's an effect that's coming out that nobody knows about by, I can't pronounce the guy's name, but something Miranda, right? Makes electronic gimmicks, really good stuff. He's hyping it up. He's not telling anybody what it is. Costs about $1,500. Wants you to buy it, and he'll tell you what it is later. Why is he doing that? If the product is so good, he should just show it and let it be, right? Never market it again.
It's not like it's had months of...
And they show it on the stream. They talk about it. They hype it on their live stream. Just saying.
Months of years of hype leading to this massive thing. We just put 4 little teaser videos where we put hey, can you crack the code? And we're having people guess what the name of the trick was. It's not like we were hyping it for weeks.
And that's fair. The reason why there was so much hype was because the teasers did their job and people talked about it. People talked about it, they looked for it, they shared it, they told people about it. That is effective marketing.
But that statement, if something needs to be hyped, is it worth it? I listened to you say that. I was like, that's stupid. That's just stupid. Whether the trick is hyped or not shouldn't have an impact on whether a trick is worth learning or not. And I was just like, that's a ridiculous statement. And then after the whole quantum deck thing finished, it was even funnier because you then went into another little segment about Joel Miranda's new trick, and you talked about how this is the most hyped trick of all time, and I've got an exclusive video, and Joel, we're all really excited about this trick. Let's play that exclusive video. So in that situation, there you go. You're happy with the hype. With that situation, the hype is okay, even though you don't know what the trick is, and you haven't seen it, and you haven't got one. You're okay with that hype. But if it's this trick, if a trick needs to be hyped, is it worth it? Well, shouldn't that apply to Joel's trick as well?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. It should.
Shouldn't that apply to Joel's trick? You tell me.
But on a brighter note, Mike Hankins.
Hi.
Let me find you.
Right here.
Have you heard the hype about Joel Miranda? All this hype going around about his new thing, his epic new thing.
What the?
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Well, I've got actually an exclusive clip from Joel.
Riveting.
For you guys.
Anyway, then the other thing that you bring up is you cannot name any number between 1 to 52.
I'm going to skip over this part again. I don't think it matters. I don't think that's a reason to not use the effect, to not do the effect. Any ACAN has a limitation. Any magic effect has a limitation, right? And it's how you work around those limitations that make the effect work or not work. So there's a limitation on this effect. He talks about it. He finds ways to work around it. He teaches it. I don't think it's valid at all. So I'm just going to skip past that. If you want to watch it, go check out his video.
The ad copy and the trailers never point out the negatives. You don't have a trick that comes out. Let's take your trick, Luke. Let's take Misprinted, for example. You know, you don't go, by the way, this is going to use a double back card and you're going to need to Pritt stick the gimmick and you're going to have to... You don't talk about that. You don't talk about anything.
Craig is going in right now, bro.
Anything. Nobody talks about anything. You don't highlight the negatives in a trailer. You highlight the positives.
Sure.
And yet we've gone above and beyond to actually talk about the negatives. And it's not even that it's a negative. Because it's dealt with on the project in great detail in the 4.5 hours that I talk about stuff like this. So why you would make this statement, I don't know. And then Luke ends this whole thing by saying, Craig and I are buddies.
Was the person that created this, Craig Petty, who we all know, and Craig and I are buddies too.
Fuck you, Luke. We are not buddies. You and I have spoken.
Oh my God. Holy shit, bro. I need to see that again.
Petty, who we all know, and Craig and I are buddies too.
Fuck you, Luke. We are not buddies. You and I have spoken once, one time, and one time only.
Oh my God.
The one time that we have spoken is when I stayed up until 1 o'clock in the morning to interview you for my YouTube channel. And thank you for giving me that interview. It was a great interview. That's the one and only time that we have communicated in any way, shape, or form. So to turn around...
Oh boy. Ooh, Craig, you bring too much heat, bro. This is crazy. Holy cow, man. Woo. I need an icebox or something.
To me and say that we're fucking buddies. That's a lie, right? Don't act like you and me are friends. Don't act like I ever fucking pick up the phone and call you. Don't act like we run up to each other in slow motion when we see each other at a magic convention and give each other a wet, sloppy fucking kiss, because that doesn't fuck.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
We're not fucking mates. And to be honest, don't particularly want to be your mate. You turn around and you say you're always honest. You're flying this flag now, aren't you, Luke? I'm always honest. I'm always honest. I'm going to give you guys my honest opinion. Hang on a minute, Luke. Up until very, very recently, you worked with Murphy's Magic, didn't you? You worked with Murphy's Magic. It was your choice to go to Murphy's Magic, your choice to work with Murphy's Magic. And let's not beat around the fucking bush, Luke. Your job was to hype the shit out of their products and interview the creators and talk about all of their fucking tricks that came out, whether it was a good trick or a bad trick. If you genuinely believe, Luke, if you fucking genuinely believe that Quantum is a bag of shit and it's the worst trick ever created, if you were still working at Murphy's and they told you to fucking interview me and pump the shit out of the Quant deck, you would say, yes sir, bend over so I can lick your fucking asshole.
Emotional damage.
Oh my, I can't, I need a break.
You would fucking say yes in a heartbeat. So don't act like you've always got the best interests of your fucking audience to heart, because you fucking played with the devil for X amount of years. Now you've left. Now you want to reinvent yourself. You want to talk about, hey, I've always got your best interests at heart. Like you're some sort of shit fucking AGT act that wants to fucking try and win people over with some sort of fucking sob story. If that's the way that you want to fucking be about it, then explain why you spent years hyping shit tricks up for Murphy's Magic in order to get a paycheck.
That one there was a violation.
Wow. Well, there's still a little bit more to the video. I think you should go check out Craig's channel. I think you should go check out this video. Tell him I sent you. You know, show some love. I fully agree with what Craig is saying. But man, I was not expecting Craig to be a thug like this. Holy cow, this guy brought... Woo! I'm gonna be honest, I think Craig proved his point. I think he rebutted the major points about what Luke was saying about the effect. Then he just went crazy, and he destroyed it. He tore it down. That was amazing. I was not ready for that. Please go check out Craig Petty's channel. His link will be in the description below. It'll also be at the title card at the end of the video. Go watch the video, watch all the performances, make your own opinion, and then take a vote down below. Let me know what you think. Let's have a little discussion about it. Comment below. And if you like what I'm doing here, subscribe, hit the bell if you want to be notified of my next one. And I'll see you guys very soon. Whew, I gotta go. Because, oh boy, do I feel bad. I don't feel right.
I'm a scrub, but you still love me, you love me. Even though I don't make no money, you've been there when the times get ugly. I'm a scrub, but you still love me, you love me. I'm a scrub, but you still love me, you love me. Even though I don't make no money, you've been there when the times get ugly.